Thanks so much. It's great to be back talking Music Fest here, and I am thrilled to be talking with my boss, my friend, the President and CEO of ArtsQuest, Kassie Hilgert. Kassie, how did you find time to be here?
Well, I got to tell you, working with a team I do makes it a lot easier. So, team's been hard at work, the volunteers, the city's been a tremendous partner this year as always. So, we're excited for 11 days of another Music Fest.
Yeah, 11 days, another preview night. You know, a relatively new phenomenon. I think we've done like maybe 5 of them over the years. It doesn't always happen. How do preview nights happen?
Preview nights are, looking at the main stage and the Wind Creek stage, and if we can get an artist who is trying to route through the area that doesn't get through the regular 10 days for whatever scheduling reason, if we think it's the right act and they are here either before or we've never done the day after Music Fest, but if they're here the day before, we want to take advantage of that. And this year, luckily, Boyz II Men slid right into that slot, so we're excited to be kicking off on August 4th on the south side.
Yeah, Thursday, August 4th at the Wind Creek Steel Stage at PNC Plaza. Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men.
Do you know when they performed at Music Fest last?
Why are you embarrassing me?
I don't actually know the right answer either, but it's like around the year 2000. It's been like, I think 20, 22 years since they've been here.
It's become classic rock.
I don't know that it's rock, but it's definitely classic.
Okay,
it is definitely
fair enough,
classic,
fair
and
enough.
I can't wait to see Motown Philly
Yes.
on the
Oh
stage.
my goodness, absolutely.
Let alone all the other hits, but that one's gonna hit right here.
Close to home.
That's so cool. It's so cool. 11 nights of Music Fest, and just your reminder. Download that app sponsored by PNC Bank because you can make your own schedule. And I actually know for a fact because I've seen her do it. Kassie makes her own schedule, and that's how she gets around the festival. Is the app tells her where she has to be.
I love the app. I mean, I used to use the paper. I still love the booklet. That's fantastic. But the app gives you the reminders. If there's any weather issues, it gives you notifications, special deals. Plus, beyond just the acts, it's the activities, all the fun festivities around Music Fest that are not necessarily performing arts. So whether it's the mobile glass unit, or Loop, which is going to be an interactive display on the south side. Tells you about all those things, so it is a gold mine.
Well, and it's always up to date too, because like we all love the program books. You can put them in your pocket. It's a tangible thing. But we had to print that back in June. Right. So things change. Bands' schedule changes. Sometimes we're able to do new promotions and things like that. And the app is great because when cool stuff is happening, like a headliner is going to pop over to Yingling Lagerplatz and do an acoustic set.
Absolutely.
The way to find out about that cool stuff is through that Music Fest app powered by PNC.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Music Fest 2022.
Yes.
And I'm actually excited because right behind you, we have a copy of this year's poster.
Yes.
Made by the amazing Bart Cooper, an artist who grew up in Whitehall, went to Los Angeles, is a huge star in the art world. How did that happen?
We got connected with Bart through Kevin Green at Faces International, and each year we look for an artist. We'd like to have them local, but once we can find them, we have a very simple instruction to them, which is interpret Music Fest through your eyes. What are your memories? And talking to Bart Cooper the first time when he was out in Los Angeles, an artist of that size and world renown, we were kind of had our fingers crossed whether he had time to do it or not. He jumped in with both feet. And when he showed us that first design, we had never seen a patron in full relief like that. And then also capturing the feel of the heat and the music and the energy behind that. To me, I thought it was fantastic. Then you add the layer that it's an actual father-daughter that has been going to Music Fest since she was born. To me, I loved putting the attention on the patron because that is what we're doing this for. It's to bring people in from across the nation, across the valley, and across the world. And to see that in that kind of sharp relief was truly special for us this year.
Yeah, it's amazing to have an artist of that caliber who grew up here in the Lehigh Valley, has those connections to the festival, to create the artwork reflecting the community. And putting the care and detail that he did into it. Because one of my favorite pieces too, and it's so subtle, you'll probably never even notice it if you don't know it's there. But in the reflection of the father's sunglasses, it's actually the band Black Violin who headlined last year. So it's got all of these different layers and subtle details, and it's just really special.
Well, speaking of subtleties, I think too it was the partnership with Kevin and Faces International. That's what we try to really build. We are a community-based organization, and we certainly have an eye for what we want to do from a programming perspective, but engaging the community and asking them to get involved to ensure that we are reflecting all the communities we serve is so important. And having that partnership with Faces and leading us to Bart Cooper is just a perfect example of the power of partnerships.
And it's a wonderful piece, a wonderful partnership. Obviously, you'll see it on the mugs this year. You'll see it on the program and the app, everywhere. Just a wonderful story. And earlier this year, Bart came in and did a residency at the Banana Factory Arts Center of his Heroes exhibition. And so just more wonderful just community engagement with hundreds of students that came in to see that exhibition and hear Bart talk. Just a truly wonderful thing. So
I think it's important for those students to see somebody who grew up in some of the schools they went to around here and now is living in Los Angeles and making a living as an artist, and to hear that inspiration. Representation matters. So to be able to see yourself in someone who's talking to you and who has become a success in the field that they've chosen is priceless.
That's good. And you seamlessly used air quotes there. I'm jealous. I'm not good at it. So kudos for that, too.
Thanks. Hey.
But you started kind of telling that story by talking about, it's art, Bart's art, which is very fun to say, kind of takes a look at like the experience of the patron and their interpretation and their memories of Music Fest. So what are some of your favorite, maybe before you were kind of running the show, what are those like memories that kind of hang out there?
I was a teenager on Main Street back in the day, so
that was a long time ago.
It was a long
Cassie.
time ago. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
I
Awesome.
will pay for that in a not so subtle way
Slide
later
that in.
today.
You could have used air quotes with that. But being on Main Street was an experience in high school. During college, we went back to that sort of as a reunion for our friends that came home. And then once I started working, you started to explore the festival more. It was great to get around, even though it's not that far from Main Street. Platz was always my go-to, the place when it was the perfect night, sitting under the trees out there, and just the vibe, I think is fantastic. So memories, were a lot. Definitely the food. Got to say, I filled up my mug more than once, but to be on the other side of it and see it, I think as a patron, as much as I enjoyed that, it's 1/10 of the festival. Getting behind the scenes to see the volunteers that get behind this, the city, and their efforts, from parks and streets to the police to EMS, everyone who helps pull all the oars in the same direction and build a city within a city is a phenomenal experience that I was fortunate in my previous careers that I was able to travel the country, and I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head, right? A city within a city. It is a logistical just miracle, I think, that this festival happens, but it's because of those volunteers. It's because of the commitment of not only, ArtsQuest and all of the staff, but all of these people that dedicate their time, their talent, their resources to help this happen. I always like to joke with people of okay, well, just try to imagine you're behind the scenes at Music Fest, right? And so you're on the north side at Wells Fargo Fest Platz, and you have to get a bag of ice to Steel Stacks at 9 o'clock at night.
And it's 90 degrees still.
Right, so how do you do that? And those are the type of things that there's inevitably a volunteer. It's I got this, I know exactly what to do. And my experience working, and we've shared stories over the years too, it's so rewarding because 9 times out of 10, if you're I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, there's a volunteer who's been doing this for 30 years that's going to be I got you.
That is no joke.
Yeah.
My first several years in this role, I learned more from the volunteers walking around the festival than anyone else, and even from my experience being there. But we also have to mention too that just being here is a feat, and the last 2 years, the sponsors, the members, the donors, Service Electric, all the others that came together to make sure that this ship stayed afloat is a testament to the strength and just the durability of this community. So to be back at the full 16 stages this year, 11 days, I think is a pretty miraculous story for us to tell as a community.
Yeah, absolutely. Just case in point, you mentioned 16 stages. That includes us going back up to Payroll Plaza, the brand new but old but new venue, PNC Stadtplatz at Payroll Plaza, City Hall, the Bethlehem Public Library. Definitely a part of the history of Music Fest. We couldn't be there for about a decade, but we're back, and that's largely because of the partnership between the city and ArtsQuest and the community asking for it.
Yeah, we talked to the city year-round, and with Mayor Reynolds coming in, he asked a lot about what was going on with Music Fest, and we talked about the popularity last year and the crowds. We needed to spread out a little more. And that's where the conversations got really serious. And it didn't take long, about 6 weeks, until we were able to pull that together. And then engaging the community on the name. That was the best part. And I think even just reading through those name suggestions certainly made my day. But to be able to go back up there, whole new stage from what we had about 11 years ago, where you couldn't see through the stage to the south side. Now you're going to be able to see straight through. The south side looks completely different than it did 11 years ago. And the response we've gotten from the community has been heartwarming to be able to go back up there.
Well, I can't wait to check it out. Certainly August 4th, preview night, right around the corner. We talked about it already. Boys to Men on the Wind Creek Steel Stage at PNC Plaza. 10 amazing nights after that, so check out the website, check out that app. Kassie, I got one last question for you, because I know you have to go, because everyone's like, Kassie has to go off camera. But what's the first thing you're going to eat at Music Fest this year?
Oh, first thing I'm going to eat, this always gets me in trouble. I'm going to eat Take a Taco.
Why is that going to get you in trouble?
Because all the other food I'm not eating, which I will eventually get to over 10 days.
11.
But the first one, 11, but the first one's going to be Take a Taco.
That's great. That's great. Insider food information, don't sleep on their garlic Parmesan pierogi fries.
Oh my gosh.
Not Mexican food by any stretch of the imagination,
no, but so
holy
worthwhile.
cow.
Yes.
Kassie, thank you so much for finding some time to give us a little behind the scenes sneak peek of what's in front of us coming to Music Fest. We can't thank you enough.
Well, John, thank you as always for what you do, and the rest of the staff, and Service Electric for being just the best partner. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much. We will see you at Music Fest, and take a taco for Kassie that first night if you're looking for her.